Techno update. Subscribe now.
Nokia 6. Nokia 6, design. When Nokia was designing phones running Windows Phone, I longed for one that ditched that awful operating system for Android. Nokia was at the top of its game when it came to industrial design, but it was always let down by software. It's a bulky device, with sharp flat corners and a slightly domed plastic back. The large bezel around the 5.5-inch display makes for a big phone, and the lack of any curvature on the sides make it quite hard to comfortably hold without it digging into your palms. There is plentiful use of metal, especially for a phone of this price, but the back is plastic and as a result it feels quite hollow. Nokia 6, screen. The 5.5-inch LCD display Nokia uses has a full HD, 1080 by 1920 resolution, which is a prerequisite for a panel of that size but one that's not necessarily guaranteed when you're paying less than £200. It's a nice, bright, big screen that makes the Nokia 6 a decent choice for watching movies on the go. Colors are nice and bright, while text is crisp and sharp. It lacks the deep blacks you'd get within a mold, frequently found on high-end Samsung phones, but it certainly is one of the better screens you'll find at this price. Nokia 6, performance. Budget phones undoubtedly have to cut back in certain areas to keep the costs down, and Nokia has skimped in the worst possible way. The Nokia 3 was dogged by terrible performance, and the Nokia 6 is hamstrung in a similar way. The Snapdragon 430 CPU and Adreno 505 GPU used here has already been updated to the 435, which is used in the cheaper Vodafone Smart V8, and it simply cannot keep up with the big 1080p display. Nokia 6, software. Nokia said it worked closely with Google when making these phones, and that partnership is most obvious with the software. The downside to many phones in this price range is that they tend to ship with heavy software layers that take away from the great UI design of Android. Thankfully, Nokia has ditched this and ships the Nokia 6 with software that's as close to stock Android as you can get. Nokia 6, camera. If the performance is the biggest mark against the Nokia 6, then the camera is a close second. Nokia has recently teamed up, again, with big brand lens manufacturer Zeiss, but the fruits of that partnership likely won't be seen until the rumored Nokia 8 turns up hopefully later in August. The Nokia 6 has a 16-megapixel sensor on the back with an f/2.0 lens and an 8-megapixel f/2.0 selfie shooter on the front. It's a decent sounding setup, but the pictures that come out of the camera are underwhelming to say the least. It also suffers from being slow, both when you're trying to open the app and focus. Daytime shots of still subjects are fine, with punchy colors and enough detail, but get one tiny bit too much sun or movement and everything falls apart. Light spots become overexposed and the lack of any sort of stabilization leads to very blurry pictures. There's an HDR mode, which you need to manually switch on and off, but the difference it makes is minimal. The dual-tone LED flash doesn't aid low-light shots, which are frequently unusable and the camera struggles with anything that isn't well lit. Nokia 6, battery life. Nokia has tucked a 3000 mAh battery inside the Nokia 6, a pretty average size for a phone toting this screen resolution. It's a sufficient size, though the complete lack of any sort of fast charging tech does mean it'll take nearly 3 hours to fully charge via the included micro USB cable.